Hello, everybody. Today is December 22nd, and this will probably be my final video before the actual Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and probably into the New Year weekend. I may do one more before the New Year, but today I want to discuss a little something that I think I spoke about before. So before I get started, this is the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping in, and I want to do probably a short video. But you know how I often say that since I started, and it's kind of never really true because I kind of go on and on because it's so distressing with some of the things that have been going on with the royal family since Meghan came on board, especially. But again, the royal family has always had scandals. You know, whenever you have a large sum of power, a large sum of money, numerous family members who are also included in that wealth and power, there's always going to be something happening. There's always someone scrambling over someone else's head to get the prize, even if it's just for the moment. So, blind gossip. This is a website, blindgossip.com. And I think I went over this in a previous video, but I'm going to just touch upon it again and then circle back to the United States current news on Meghan Markle for today, which is really nothing, but I want to hopefully make one point. So the Enemy Diaries, which is noted, this article was written on November 14th of this year, 2019. When there are conflicts within families, they are not always about one thing. However, one thing may be just enough to push everyone over the edge. Earlier this year, there was a story that this couple had been unable to attend a family vacation. Now, I want to stop right there. Unable to attend a family vacation, which is interesting because I believe that also was a vacation that the Queen and all the rest of the royals would come together. And I believe it was in Sandringham. I'm not positive about that, but there was a family vacation. Now, this story is blind, so it's not going to exactly label everybody or name names per se, but it does go on to go ahead and give you an idea of who this family is. So they were unable to attend a royal family vacation. And attend a family vacation. Your friends at Blind Gossip told you that that was not true and that they were actually unwelcome. Now, as history is repeating itself, we have another story that might provide some insight as to why this family feud is continuing. You see, somebody has been keeping a journal, a very, very detailed journal. This journal is a diary supposedly contains every secret she has ever been told by her husband and every encounter she has had with his family thus far. While we don't know exactly what is in it, it could contain anything from Grandma's tendency to fart when she laughs to Uncle Pervy's legal defense strategy. She may fancy herself a writer of sorts, the Tig. That's my little insert in there. But the purpose of this journal is highly suspect. She is a relentless publicity seeker. She has been adept at turning her husband away from the family. She seems to view the family as her competition, not as her allies. Her behavior always calculated and self-serving. That is not the behavior of someone who is striving to fit in. So the family is very extremely wary of her long-term intentions. So the family is wary of her long-term intentions. Now it goes on to say the purpose of the diary is a good question. Is it for personal release of emotions? Is it her insurance policy? Is it to assure her position within the family, etc., etc., etc.? Is it for a book? Is it to leak details to the media? Such on and so forth. Now let's stop there and see if I can go back to the current blind gossip. And before I do, I want to say that why I read to you the November article from Blind Gossip, which talks about a family member writing a diary or a journal, and it details every secret and every family thing, history that her husband has ever spoken to her about, and she's written down, as well as any meetings or overhearing anything within the family. She has also chronicled in this journal. So I want to stop there and say that because because this family had found out that this particular person married within the family has been writing a diary, keeping a diary, and everybody is alert and aware that she's keeping and writing this diary, and so the family is very suspect of her. It lends me to believe that that is why that Meghan and Harry were not invited to a family get-together, which I think was back when they were talking about how Meghan didn't want to go to the family event where everybody goes hunting and it's very competitive and it's sports and they hunt for the day, and Harry's been doing it since he was a kid, basically, with this family on his grandmother's property. And so with that being said, I can remember that being a family get-together that Meghan, slipped out of. She didn't want anything to do with it. It was said that she didn't like the drinking and the hunting of animals, etc., etc., etc. So I don't think Prince Harry was at that function. So, but it tells that perhaps this article is relating to that she was actually unwelcome. And when I say she, that means they weren't welcome because of Meghan. So let's move on to Christmas this year, 2019, December. It seems that Harry and Meghan are supposedly in Canada, but I don't see any prominent pictures of them getting off a plane, probably because they didn't fly, with the public. They probably flew private. But let's just pretend for lack of better words, that's not true, but it's just my opinion. I haven't been able to see any pictures popping up on my browser in the United States that show of Harry and Meghan and the baby getting off the plane in Canada and being greeted by Justin Trudeau, I believe it is, not being greeted by him. Because usually when anybody who's official comes from another country to a country, from another country to a country, and they're going to be staying for a bit, they'll have official greeting by someone in the ministry or the cabinet or the presidential cabinet. And I didn't see any of that. So I think that it's kind of not exactly 100% true, in my opinion. It's just something to throw out there and say that's where they went to hide. But we really don't know where they went to hide unless we're going to see Justin Trudeau meeting Meghan Markle, little Archie, and Harry coming off a plane or in the on the tarmac somewhere or within the building, or so you don't see that. You just hear a lot of seeing a lot of words. So I'm going to skip that and go on to this article, which is The Rules. Niece Messy. Meghan Markle. Let's focus on Prince Andrew. Let's hit this and try to get into this just a little bit. So we see that this says, we've told you before that this is not about gender or race or religion or anything else like that. This is about loyalty and commitment, protecting the family, and playing by the company rules. Yes, we said company. Why? Because this is not just a family, this is a job. Uncle Pervy behaved very badly. He is likely a horrific criminal. When he ran into trouble, he did not whine or complain, nor try to handle it on his own or throw shade at his family. He took his family's counsel and used the family's resources, towed the company line. He also specifically referenced his sorrow at having let the firm down. See, he knows the rules. He sat down with family counsel and prepared his strategy and did what he was told. They will do everything in their power to defend him, regardless of his guilt or innocence. Now, of course, it goes on to say nephew, hapless, engaged in some bad behavior a few years ago. And that's basically telling the regurgitated story of Prince Harry drinking nude, drugs, and the Nazi thing years ago. But I want to stop here and say, he knows the rules. He sat down with his family counsel and prepared his strategy and did what he was told. They will do everything in their power to defend him, regardless of his guilt or innocence. So basically, what they're really referring to in this particular article is a little bit about Prince Andrew and how he could very well be guilty. And that it's becoming, very difficult to prove his innocence or not prove his innocence. It's kind of like in this gray, murky area. But nevertheless, his family, his loyalty to his family is stated. So he didn't, go out and ramble on to the press. He, hid out. He waited to talk with the family, the attorneys. The loyalty is shown by his statements, and also, since he did what he was told to do, the family, which we can assume from this article, kind of assume that it's the royal family, is going to stand by him regardless of his innocence or guilt. So, returning back to Meghan Markle and Christmas and not being at Sandringham. Yes, it's not unheard of that family members can skip holidays to spend holidays with other family members. However, in Meghan Markle's case, she has one other family member, which is Doria Ragland, and she's in California. So saying that they were going to spend Christmas with Doria, one person, Prince Harry, Meghan, and Archie, is a little bit it's not wrong, but it's a little bit off and lackluster, especially for Meghan, because Meghan likes big things. It's all about her. I'm here. Look at me. Take pictures. Write about me. Hopefully it's going to be positive. If it's not, I'm going to comfort your jaw. It's all about Meghan. So this is kind of really being downplayed and very subtle, and a lot of very little proof that she actually has even been seen with Doria in that little tiny house that she has. Well, it's not a tiny house, but, compared to anything royal, her little tiny house that anybody would see Meghan roll off the red carpet from the tarmac and get in, several Range Rovers and come through California with, 2 or 3 Range Rovers or maybe more, and a whole group of people, makeup, hair, whatever. And Prince Harry, you can't miss him with this flaming red hair and with this, tan, olive complected woman with a new baby in a Range Rover, coming around California. You wouldn't be able to miss them. So there's no pictures. No pictures coming out anywhere. No statements. You don't see Doria Ragland's face. You don't see her coming from the airport in a tinted windowed car. You don't see anything. You don't see any people waiting at Doria's house and the news media there. They probably are, but they're not, you don't see it. And it makes you wonder if they are in Canada, maybe that's where Doria is as well. And that's fine. That could be, she could fly over there and get in and out fairly easy without a big to-do. But the royal family, meaning Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle, who married into the royal family earlier last year, wouldn't really be so easy to miss. And so I think that you'd get the, president of Canada or the minister of Canada. I think it's the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I think you would get him to meet you, and I think if that's correct, I'm trying to think. I'm not too familiar with Canada, but you hear enough of it with President Trump in the States. So I think I'm saying it right. But he would meet Prince Harry at the tarmac, or he would meet them at some official building in some official capacity to welcome them to the country. So I haven't seen the pictures, but I thought that was very, very interesting that you're not hearing or seeing a lot of photos regurgitated over and over again of them posing together. That is suspect. To me, it seems that it's not what it's really cracked up to be. So I feel like maybe there's like a little bit of a break and they're laying low, chilling out somewhere and hiding out and trying to recharge their battery and their strategy for, January, February, and March coming up. I'm sure they plan from 3 to 6 months, maybe even more in advance. And I know there'll be changes, but I think that they have to gear up for this, especially when they do so many stunts. Now, generally speaking, anywhere you look on the internet, there is quite a bit of negative publicity about Meghan Markle in terms of her nude photos when she was on vacation. It's not that big of a deal. It's more like a European topless thing on the shores or the land in Greece with her friend. It's always about her ex-boyfriends and how she kind of did a double whammy on one of them. He didn't see it coming, but oh well, that's how life is. We see a lot about her murching, which the palace has struck down. You just see a lot of things. You see a lot of publicity, negative publicity about Prince Harry and how he seems kind of sad, down, and alone, different from his usual open sharing and pretty much seeming like at least he's going to meet someone halfway. Right now, you're seeing a lot of negativity. You see a lot of negative energy around these two. And then there's the little baby that nobody really knows if there's a real baby, if that's now, obviously, if someone says they had a baby, they had it some way, somehow, because that baby's got to grow. But today, I wouldn't doubt it at all in a royal family that there's really even any child that's really even actually a real royal in terms of, is it real? I don't know. We're not really seeing any real family time. We're not seeing anything about this child. Coveting the child, if it is theirs, is kind of, it's kind of overkill in terms of why are they so secretive about a baby that they had? It's just really, is there something we're missing as a general public? And, should we have privy to know anyway? But we're not seeing a lot of the baby. The baby is definitely going to be more Americanized, it seems. And that's going to kind of bring, I think, the royal family down in terms of their English, proper etiquette, proper ways, reserved background. They don't always have to be so reserved, but that's what we kind of like and we've come to expect from them. So little deviation is okay, but to have generation after generation after generation start to take a curveball at it, it isn't any fun anymore. And if it's not going to be fun for the public and we're not going to be able to have some transparency, in terms of the royals and, seeing their lives blossom over time in front of the camera in some way, shape, or form, then they're going to lose their luster and they might as well go private and, give up some of the public wealth that they're getting and just go private and just be happy and live your lives and do your mistakes in private. But in terms of this particular article, filing lawsuits against journalists is a double-edged sword. That's what this actress is now finding out. She played around with the truth during interviews and selectively leaked false information. Then, when it got published, she played victim and sued. Some of you might think, well, good on her for sicking her legal hounds on the media. However, while that action might produce some temporary satisfaction, and it might make you think that all journalists will be more careful with her in the future, it actually has a secondary impact. She wants to promote a project. However, a number of journalists have simply passed on covering it. Others will do the bare minimum. Why would we stick their necks out on promoting anything to do with her when she has already established that she is keen on suing journalists? That was terribly foolish of her. So if you are invited to do an interview with her, watch your back, or else it might be off with your head. So that's just kind of talking and touching upon how Meghan, had all this stuff going out about her. She put this stuff out and they were untrue. And when it was printed, she called, foul and is now attempting to sue. She's now the victim. But it's understood that in a lot of this stuff, she put this information out there. And so really, I feel like this whole missing in action, taking a long break could be a whole bunch of things. It could be Meghan and Harry are not even really together, like they're kind of like they did their agreement with a baby and they did some occasions out together and they can act and get along in that term, but maybe things are becoming a little more foul and they're going to fall away. And this is the beginning of them falling away. It's maybe the other scenario is maybe they are taking a break and laying low. They aren't wanted at Sandringham because of this potential journal that she's writing with family secrets and things that are coming out seem kind of suspect since Meghan joined the family. It seems very interesting how all this stuff is opening up just when a lot of focus and negative press is on Meghan and Harry, but Meghan. And it makes me wonder in my wild imagination, is this something that Meghan had overheard, had some information from a family member like her husband and had journaled it, and now she had leaked it to somebody, and that took a lot of the limelight off them, the negative limelight off them, and now they can kind of chill a little bit and regroup. And then the suing of the tabloids is just, it seems like a big farce. And again, it's like her being in the public eye and this whole woke thing. And, honestly, marrying into the royal family is not making anybody woke. And suing the journalist are not making anybody woke. And marketing wares and goods from other successful enterprises is not being woke. And pretending like you are a humanitarian in the level that real humanitarians are, like Gandhi, Princess Diana, Mother Teresa, even Maya Angelou, Mandela. When you're trying to take that far of a reach and claim you're that level of humanitarian is really going to put you out there and make you look really stupid, because nothing you've done in the past equals or is in that standard of humanitarianism. It's just, you're not about the people, you're about the person. And it's like if you have a group of people that are similar to you, then you want to be about the people, but you're not about the right people. And so I think I'm going to sum that up because I feel like their trip over, to Canada, if they're even really there, is more about hiding out. Maybe they're not even together. Maybe they're separated a little and still laying low, but they're kind of trying to get their strategy together. You don't see anything or hear anything much about the baby, which, at this point, so many people are not going to care. It's going to backfire on them because people are not going to care so much about the baby being the newest royal baby. They're not going to care. And if we can only hold out and wait for Eugenie's baby, we're going to be awesome because they can turn the attention onto that baby and the royal family. And Meghan will no doubt do something else ludicrous and just to be relative and keep herself in the spotlight that we're all looking at in terms of looking at the royals. So, Merry Christmas. I hope that made sense because I know it's always hard to kind of loop all the chains together in all these little moves that they're making because we know nothing is for nothing. Things are always done in the entertainment business for a reason. And right now, Meghan is acting like she's still in the entertainment business. She does not understand to wrap her head around it's your new job to work with your husband and your husband's family to represent the British colonies, the entire Commonwealth of that country, and to do so with class and grace. And if you cannot do so, then you need to exit. Instead of making Americans look weird, biracial women look, less appealing in terms of, wow, here's this royal family who has a biracial woman in her midst, which is not the first in royalty at all. There's a few people who are of other nationalities in the royal family in lesser positions, but still in the royal family and have been in the past. So we need to just stop with that whole thing too and just stop making everything look so bad and rise up and try to meet the British people where they are. And I don't know if she can go back and try to blank out everything, all the damage she's done. I doubt it, but because it's so much. But it can be done over years and years and years. If she starts now, she potentially has a chance. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure myself. I don't really think that she's going to be someone we're going to be admiring in 10 years. To me, I think that marriage won't even be here in 10 years. So we'll see. Time tells everything. Everything comes out in the wash. All right. Have a good Christmas and a great new year. And I'll be back. And hopefully can come back in better shape than just my recordings. Maybe I can do some FaceTime. I don't know. I kind of wanted to plan that when I had more subscribers because I'm just starting out. So if you can help out and you have a few minutes, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment. At least I know someone's there. And let me know what you think about any of the topics. And if I'm not making any type of sense, then let me know so I can slow it down a little bit and go to one topic only. And that will be a shorter video, but at least it'll be more concise. And that's kind of what I'm thinking too. So thank you and bye. See you in the next video.